he did the work, just like I did. And then we got Kevin Brownhill, another graduate. Had a positive attitude. He knew he was beaten. He knew he was tired. And he knew he had to do something different. And he came in with that attitude. He hasn't missed a beat. And he's graduating. So I really want to thank the board for the opportunity. And John, I love you.
I love you too, man. Carol to come up and say a few words too about what it's been like to see the evolution of this process. You're on our agenda. So.
I know what that means. Hello everyone, my name is Carol McDade and I'm a woman in long-term recovery. Long-term recovery for me means that I've been alcohol and drug-free for over 14 years. And my recovery's allowed me to become a wife to John, a mother, and a small businesswoman. And it's also allowed me to become an advocate for other people in recovery, and I get to work with people in Washington and in Virginia to help others get the same opportunity and a new way of life that I did. And I can say that John and Tony probably spent more time talking on the phone with each other to help to stand this program up over the last 2 or 3 years than probably I've talked to John. And I can't tell you how proud I am of the graduates and the work that you all reflect that it takes to have a new way of life. And if anybody tells you that having a year free of alcohol and drugs isn't a big deal, you tell them yes it is. You've earned it. You've done the work, and you family members, you've done the work too, to stand in here tonight and be celebrating, because I can tell you addiction is a family illness, and recovery is a community and family celebration tonight. And we are so delighted to be able to be a part of your family celebration and this community celebration, because recovery lifts everyone in a community up. Just like addiction takes it down, recovery lifts communities up, and that's what we're here celebrating tonight. So I'm really excited to listen up and hear all the wonderful things that the graduates have accomplished, and thank you for letting me be a part of your special day.
How many people in the room are in recovery? Raise your hand, please. Recovery is everywhere and it's abundant. And there's a lot of recovery in the house tonight. There's a national organization that has spent the last few years rallying recovery people all over the country to step up and be responsible for delivering recovery support services to communities like Caroline County, Henrico, and Lynchburg, and Hanover. And we're on the move right now. And I've asked a board member of a national organization, Faces and Voices of Recovery, Bobby, to come up here and say a few words about that movement. Bobby?
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here and represent Faces and Voices of Recovery. I really just wanted to say a few words about our organization and what we do. But I wanted to thank Carol. Carol was served as the president of our board when I came to Faces and Voices, so I'm happy to see her here. And John, thank you for asking me. And Deputy Director Minetta, thank you for your support of our community organizations. You know, I live in Washington, and I'm also a board member of a recovery community organization there called the DC Recovery Community Organization, and we're doing a lot of the same things that you're doing here, and I'm happy to see peer support services being used in such an interesting way. Faces and Voices of Recovery just celebrated our 10-year anniversary, and we're an organization that was established to help get rid of the negative, the stigma that was associated with recovery. We're also an organization that was put together to help develop policies that would break down barriers to recovery. And also, you know, like Carol said, an organization that would help people understand and celebrate recovery. There are 20 million people in this country that are in recovery. So that's one of the things that I wanted to do. And I wanted to congratulate the class here and say, just like Carol said, that I'm also a person in long-term recovery. And for me, what long-term recovery means is that I haven't had a drink of alcohol or a drug since February 21st of 1991. And because of that, I'm a better father to my kids. I'm a better member of my community. And it also gives me an opportunity to come and be here in an evening like this and to share with you guys. So as somebody in long-term recovery, I want to welcome you to the recovery community and to challenge you to share your recovery, to share your recovery with people. And there's lots of different opportunities to do that through participation in recovery community organizations like the Chin Foundation. There's also a program that Faces and Voices just put together a couple of years ago called Recovery Voices Count. And Recovery Voices Count is a program that has to try and spread the word to people that are policymakers, elected officials, that the recovery community is a constituency of consequence. That means that people pay attention to us when we show up. We've done some events in Washington where people didn't really realize that, 250, 300 people in recovery show up, and politicians pay attention to that. The Recovery Voices Count program is a program that helps us to identify people in the recovery community, register them to vote, educate them about policies that are barriers to recovery, and most importantly, to turn out our recovery community on election day and make sure that people vote. It's a nonpartisan program. So if you want to learn more about that, I encourage you to do that and go to the Faces and Voices of Recovery.org. So that's a wonderful program that I would encourage you guys to take advantage of. But like I said, I know that there's a program ahead, and I want everybody to be able to take advantage of that. I'm just happy to be here. And again, thank you for asking me.
Couldn't be where we are without good, solid board members. And I think Chin has one of the oldest, crustiest board members in the state of Virginia. My old friend, been clean. He's getting ready to celebrate 30 years clean. And he's one of the best sailors I know. Mr. Kennan would like to say a few words.
First of all, I'd like to congratulate those that have reached this milestone in your life in this graduation today from your program. And to all the clients and to all the families, I want to assure you and also to bring to your attention that the graduation is not an end, it's a beginning. Recovery is a journey, is not a destination. Your work really begins today, okay? And what you've gained so far and what you'll gain in the weeks and months and hopefully years ahead, you must share with other people that seek recovery. You know, those of us that have been incarcerated, and everyone has made in their life that's in recovery or is seeking recovery and needs to be in recovery, has said to our Lord one of the most honest prayers that's ever been said. And that's, God, if you'll get me out of this today, I will never drink again. The second other most important prayer, the most honest prayer and statement that those of us that have been incarcerated have ever said is, I will never come back to jail. I will never return to prison. We got, I think, 3 Commonwealth attorneys in here today. We had a sheriff. They know the rate of recidivism in the Commonwealth of Virginia and their respective counties. That's what we're all striving to do, is to ensure that that rate is in fact decreased significantly through recovery, so that you in fact don't return to jails and prisons.